Salutations, Queen of Shade here. I'm standing before you sharing my experiences for Pride Month. I'm walking back through my life and I'm remembering myself. I am honoring myself and opening up about how difficult it was for me to come to the realization of my being homosexual. Growing up in a super uber religious family and going to church every single week did not create an environment for me to be myself. And I went to college and fell in love with a guy there, and that didn't end well, and I was medically withdrawn from school, but there were other reasons, but things just didn't go my way. Then, by hook or by crook, I found myself in Paris, France, as a young model, aspiring to become a supermodel. I found myself. And you know, I thought that I had escaped the world of America and that I could be myself. And I was still denying who I was, because I'm going to let you know something. Modeling, the modeling industry wants a man to look like a man, act like a man. I could take a mean picture, but when you met me, my effeminacy would come out. Until I went to Paris and I realized that, oh, well, if you transgender, you can be a female model here. I never needed to transgender, but I knew that if my career was to take off, I would need to adorn myself like this. And later on in life, I did it for myself and my career took off. I am your Queen of Shade now. But I remember that Paris voyage, and I remember one morning waking up at 6 a.m. and my friend going to work because I was staying with a beautiful man in Paris, France. And the Spirit of the Divine spoke to me and said, go to the park. There were all these beautiful parks all over France, Paris. And I remember asking no questions. And when I got to the park, I remember there were people early in the morning laying out, kind of enjoying themselves. And I got there and I sat down, and the Spirit of the Divine spoke to me for the first time in my life, which solidified it for the rest of my life. I was 22. The Spirit of the Lord said, BJ, you do know that you are gay, right? It was the elephant in my own room. And I said back to the Divine, I said, I know. And I started screaming out of myself. I started screaming and crying to the point that the French jumped up and ran over. And I had long hair then too, so they were like, Madame, Madame, are you all right? Are you all right? Of course, they spoke English. Madame, Madame, are you all right? And I could do nothing but roll in that grass and cry and cry and scream and scream and scream. But that moment was the moment my consciousness accepted for the first time in my life that I was homosexual. And I remember sitting there asking the Divine after I gathered myself, what am I going to do now? And I remember the Divine saying, we'll deal with it. And that was about 18, 19 years ago. I'm 41, I'll be 42 in September. I've never had a conversation with the Divine about my being gay ever again. About my being non-binary, about my being gender fluid, a trans illusionist, none of these things. I live my life as I am, and I enjoy my life as I am. I needed no more convincing. Indoctrination is gone from me. Family ties like that are gone from me. I am my own being, as gay and free as I need to be. And I hope these stories help you one day find yourself. Hopefully you don't have to go all the way to Paris to do it. Find yourself in your own backyard, but find yourself nevertheless. You are a member of the Pride community. You don't have to tell the world, but the one person you need to tell is you. Happy Pride, darling. Just you. Just you.
Make sure that you follow the Queen of Shade on all social media platforms, Stay up to date with social media posts, podcast episodes, merchandise drops, and mentoring specials. Serious booking inquiries use the email provided.